welcome whoever you are to Meg's Magical Mansion, a virtual guest house for spiritual wayfarers, a place where the ordinary becomes magical, where wisdom is yours for the asking, and where your higher nature is just a wish away. Thanks for joining us here today at Meg's Magical Mansion. I'm Meg, and this is my trusty butler, Scallion. And here in my lap is my beautiful assistant, Miss Alice Poopers. And we're so glad you've joined us here today at Meg's Magical Mansion, because today we're talking all about self-worth. Yes, today, Scallion, we're here to explain to everybody how fabulous you are and why you matter and how important you are. And Scallion, I think you have something special to share today too, am I right?
Exactly.
So stick around, we're going to have some fun, but we're also going to start feeling really good about our own selves.
All of us.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess that means it's time for words of wisdom. And today our words of wisdom come to us from the renowned author, Brené Brown. And we're going to hear a series of short quotes by Brené Brown. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our words of wisdom. Quotes about worthiness from Brené Brown. Here's what is truly at the heart of wholeheartedness. Worthy now, not if, not when. We're worthy of love and belonging now, right this minute, as is. I now see that owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. Stop walking through the world looking for confirmation that you don't belong. You will always find it because you've made that your mission. Stop scouring people's faces for evidence that you're not enough. You will always find it because you've made that your goal. True belonging and self-worth are not goods. We don't negotiate their value with the world. The truth about who we are lives in our hearts. Our call to courage is to protect our wild heart against constant evaluation, especially our own. No one belongs here more than you. Well, Miss Poops, did you enjoy those nice quotes from Brené Brown? I love her book, Daring Greatly, one of my favorites. And her new book is Atlas of the Heart. I want to read that. And we'll have a book review on that coming up. So, today we're going to be talking about worthiness, self-worth, and why it matters. This is an important subject to me because I think it is the most important thing to our being able to manifest well and being able to manifest all of the things that we want in our life. And I think one of the main things that holds people back from being able to manifest and co-create in their own lives is their lack of self-worth. And they have everything in place and they're saying affirmations, they're doing this and that. But if there is a deep core belief that you do not deserve whatever it is you're trying to manifest, you ain't gonna get it, baby. It's not coming. So I think it is very important to take some time and really think about the topic of self-worth and why we deserve everything we want. First of all, let's start with the opposite idea of this topic of unworthiness and how did we get stuck here, so many of us feeling that we are not worthy? Well, for a lot of reasons. I think one of the main things that starts us off feeling unworthy is our basic core programming. At the heart of who we are the things we learned in our childhood. So I think it kind of can go back to our parents and our families and the messages we learned from them, from our teachers and our institutions, what we learned from them, from our peer groups, our friends, and our age mates, the lessons we learned from interacting with them, from our religious institutions and religious upbringing, that definitely impacts our feeling of worthiness. So I think when we look back at our childhood and we think about some of the messages we received, we're going to hear this come up a lot today, this idea of expectations and ideals. Certainly our parents had expectations for us. I am a parent of 2 adult children. I had expectations for my children. Did I try to make them reasonable? Yes. I mean, sometimes, of course, do I wish I knew then what I know now? Yes. But you have to understand you do the best you can at the time you're doing it. That's all you can do. But I do know that when children are young, they're receiving, they're just like sponges, and they are receiving and believing everything they're hearing, especially from the people they trust the most, their family, their friends, their church, their schools, their teachers. So the messages they're getting there about, are your grades good enough? Or, did you win your game? All of these things can send messages of, if you don't do this or this, you're not good enough or you're not worthy. And whether it's intentional or unintentional, a lot of adults do this to children. So we grow up with all of these influences, good, bad, or indifferent, on us. And they're very critical to our self-worth. Are we picked for the kickball team? And this goes on into our idea of achievement in life. And what kind of a job do you have? What kind of an education do you get? And a lot of these things can be determined on things that are completely out of your control. If your family has loads of money, can afford to send you to fancy colleges, that's great. But if your family doesn't, that is not your fault. And you do the best you can. You can go to the community college or do other things, but you do the best you can. We don't all get the same experience. We didn't come here to all get the same experience, so we might as well accept that. That doesn't mean you're more worthy or less worthy. You're learning your lessons. I'm learning my lessons. So I think this idea of a lot of competitive ideas we have about, is your job good enough? Did you go to college? Do you have the right degree? Are you doing the right thing? The right things in life. And that's other people's, again, expectations and ideals. And then you have this idea that you have to live up to them. Then we start to develop this idea of being perfect. Having perfect grades, or having a perfect score, or having a perfect batting average, or having whatever you're into, being perfect at it. And this is where people can really start to go to the heights and lows of, I just won an event, I just won a medal, and oh my God, I just missed a medal by 3 points. And it can totally determine your worth, whether you win that medal or not. I think we all know that to make it to the Olympics, you're probably pretty good at your sport. So if you're in 4th place versus 1st place, that can also oftentimes be down to tenths of a second in an event. And think about how that affects the worth of the person in 4th place versus the person in 1st place. So I think an overly competitive society it makes this hard for us to feel worthy, because it makes things so hardcore, cut and dry. And of course, with social media and the world that we live in, this idea of perfection, where you see all of these models on social media and people out on social media who don't even look real, who've altered their photographs to the point where it's not even who the person really is. And this is the idea of beauty. Models in magazines, all airbrushed, all made to look this unrealistic idea of beauty and perfection. And we're all supposed to achieve that, which even the model herself doesn't achieve without airbrushing. So I think that this whole idea of being attached to our phones and constantly comparing ourselves, hey, they had a better vacation, they look happier. And how many times have you been on a miserable vacation and acted like, woohoo, for the picture, just so it looks good on your social media? I mean, what you see on someone's social media is not necessarily what their reality is. This is a fake thing they're putting up to make themselves look good. So watch out for over-attachments to your phone, please. This is coming the voice of someone who grew up without cell phones. They did not exist when I was a teenager, when I was in college. I don't think I had my first cell phone till I was like 30. So if I could make it that far without a cell phone, I want to know, ask yourself, if you're driving to work and you get halfway there, or you're going to work on the bus, or however you get there, if you're going to work and halfway there you realize you forgot your phone at home, would you turn around and go back and get your phone and be late for work? Or would you keep going and just go to work without your phone? Me personally, I would go to work without my phone and be on time, because I lived 30 years without a phone glued to me. So I am concerned when I see people who can't put it down, and they're always looking and always doing this, and they're always looking at the social media, and they're comparing themselves, and I wonder, how does that make them feel inside? Because why else are you constantly looking unless you're worried about how you look? So it's this constant thing about worrying about how you appear to others. One thing that really helps me with that is thinking that nobody really knows me but me. Nobody. There could be people on this earth that know you quite well, but I promise you, nobody knows you the way you do. So when you let other people's voices drown out your own inner voice, or the voice of your spirit guide, that is when we run amok. Because it really should not matter what those other people think. What should really matter is what your intuition, your higher self, your spirit guides are telling you about your life, your lessons you need to learn, and your spiritual path. But we are constantly drawn by the voices from the TV, from the news, from the media, from the Instagram, from social media, from Facebook, from all over the place, from Twitter. Every one of them is constantly showing us unrealistic versions of perfection that aren't real. They're fake, because perfection doesn't really exist. Also, I want to talk about relationships and relationship status, because that is another area where people start to feel unworthy. If you are single, that often makes people feel unworthy. Why? Because other people tell them they should have a partner. Or if you're in a polyamorous relationship, that can have people telling you you shouldn't be having that many partners. There are many situations where whatever your relationship is, it might not work with your family or your friends or your society in general. So you might be getting pushback on it. It's up to you what your relationship is. That is private between you and the people you're in the relationship with, you and your partners. Or if you choose to be single, that's your business. Nobody should be pressuring you like, oh, why aren't you in a relationship? There's that nice person down the street, I want to fix you up. Maybe you just don't want to be in a relationship. Please, that's definitely a place where people start to feel unworthy. Why don't I have a partner? Why are people criticizing my partners? It shouldn't matter. If your relationship is working for you and your partner or partners, that's your business. So I find we often let society looking in on our relationships color our view of ourselves. And I think another area in here with relationships is our relationships with having children, or deciding whether or not we want a family. Not only may you choose to be single, or may you choose to be in a relationship, or may you choose whatever, but you also are going to decide whether or not you want children of your own in your life. Whether you have your own, whether you have a partner who has children, whether you adopt children, however they come into your life, do you want that type of family? I think many people in their 20s and 30s get a lot of pressure from their parents, from society at large, to have children. And for people who choose not to have children, I think are looked at with a side eye like, hey, how come you're not making those babies? Maybe they can't, maybe they don't want to, I actually know couples in all these categories. But here's the deal, it shouldn't determine your worth as a human being whether or not you have children, whether or not you can have children, whether or not you choose to have children. That again is your business. But I think a lot of people get caught up in this of thinking that they are not worthy because they do not have children, because that's just not true. So let's talk about why you are worthy. You are worthy because you are the stuff of the universe, sweetheart. You're the stuff of the stars. And so is everyone around you. So nobody is better than you. Nobody is more or less than you. We're all made of the same awesome and amazing stuff. So we're all great, we're all amazing, and we are all fabulous. And I find the funny thing is when you start to develop your own self-worth and appreciate yourself, and you walk out in the world, you start to appreciate it in others. You start to see it in other people. The things you start to notice in yourself. I know I'm worthy whether I choose to do makeup, choose to do my hair. My appearance is not indicative of my self-worth. I can go out in my sweats and my t-shirt and feel just as good. Now, do I enjoy using all my nice things and treating? Yes, and I'll tell you what, if you've struggled with self-worth, one of the best things I can tell you to do is date yourself. Date yourself for 30 days and see how awesome you feel. Treat yourself like you are in love with yourself. Do nice things. Take yourself out for a treat. You don't always have to spend money. It could be a walk at the park. Do something special for yourself. Make yourself your favorite dish. Do great things for yourself. Wear your favorite outfit. Or if it's a day off and you don't want to wear makeup, don't. And you don't want to dress up, don't. And you don't want to do all that, don't. But start to tune into yourself and really baby yourself, pamper yourself. Treat yourself like the god or goddess that you are. And I'm not joking about this. When you start to do this, consciously start going out of your way to practice self-worship, self-love, and date yourself like you are your own love interest. And if you have a romantic partner, well, tell them, sorry, I'm going to be dating myself, paying attention to myself right now. You could join the fun and pay attention to me too, but you don't have to, because you know what? Doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself and how you treat your own self. Do something special for yourself. And you know what? Scallion has a great point to make on this. So we're going to check in with Scallion and see what he has to say. Take it away, Scallion.
Many of us have beautiful things in our homes. Things we rarely take out and use because they are special. We only take out our fancy dishes and stemware for guests and other people we deem worthy of using our very best things. Or for special occasions, days that, for whatever reason, we decide are more important than others. I believe we are worthy of using and enjoying our best things every day, anytime. I know I deserve to use the fancy stuff just as much as any guest who comes to the mansion. So I often set a table for myself. Just for me, because I am special enough. I am good enough. I deserve to have beautiful things in my life and to use them every day. I enjoy a delicious meal, and I'm worth the effort of preparing one. Having special meals served on elegant dishes is something I get to experience because I know I deserve the good things in life. I have the power to shape my story. I have the power to create my dream life. And it starts with something as simple as treating myself like the honored guest I am in my own life. I am worthy, and I deserve to enjoy all the lovely things life has to offer.
Whew, boy, that food looks good. Scallion, you look like you're having a great time. And it is important to just be nice to yourself. The world's rough enough. You don't need to beat yourself up. We really beat ourselves up constantly. And again, a lot of it goes back to our core programming. A lot of it goes back to our concerns with how much have we achieved in our life. Are we achieving as much as other people? It's concerns about social media and how we appear to other people. It always keeps coming back to the ideals and expectations of others. And that does not determine your worth. So stop it. Don't let it. And I want to talk to you about the Japanese concept of Wabi-Sabi. All right, now come closer. I want to talk to you about the Japanese art of imperfection. I think this will help everybody develop their self-worth a little bit more. The Japanese art of imperfection, Wabi-Sabi. Remember, perfection is subjective. Honestly, I think this is how some people get addicted to plastic surgery, because perfection is subjective. So they get one thing fixed and they think they look perfect for 2 minutes till they get that done. Then they notice this other thing not so perfect. Then they have to get that fixed. Because every time you think it's perfect, notice some other it's subjective. And you can think you're perfect and then someone can walk in and go, that's not perfect. This idea of being perfect, this idea of perfectionism, is very detrimental to your self-worth. You're not supposed to be perfect. You came here to learn lessons and make mistakes. You did not come here to be perfect. So this striving to be perfect at a musical instrument or a sport or a skill or a career or a relationship or anything in life is not realistic, not attainable, not achievable. You are way better off to set some realistic goals, set some sub-goals, smaller steps, how you're going to get to your big goal. Try to keep moving along and making these steps along in life. That's how you self-improve. Self-improvement is a wonderful thing, but this idea of chasing perfection is not healthy for any of us. Chasing perfection is exhausting and tiring, and the more you do it, the more you have to do it. If your goal is to look young and beautiful, I'm sorry, I'm 60. There's going to come a point where it doesn't matter. You're going to get old, I can promise you. You can do it gracefully or you can fight it tooth and nail, but fighting it tooth and nail generally makes you end up looking older. Go gracefully. Remember our friend Sarah Sullivan? Such a great example of aging with grace and charm. I'm going to be like her when I'm 90. But the more you try to perfect something, anything, the more fragile and rigid it becomes. Think of Michael Jackson's nose. This is the perfect example for this. The more he tried to perfect his nose, the more fragile it became, to the point where at the end he didn't even really have a nose left. So there's this point of over-perfecting to the point where we're supposed to age. We are supposed to decay. This is life. This is the circle of life. And you can't fight it. And you were never sent here to be perfect. So I want you to get this idea out of your head. You were sent here to be perfectly imperfect. Every snowflake is different. They each have their own little imperfect perfections. Each person is like that. You are perfectly perfect. You can grow and become the best version of you possible, but you shouldn't have to do it to prove yourself to anybody else, to achieve anything for someone else, to push yourself in areas you don't want to go because of the ideals and expectations of the society, the family, the relationships, everything around you. You don't have to live it like that. So it comes back to this idea of be your own best friend. Love on yourself. Date yourself. Bring yourself some flowers and some candy. Not joking. And don't forget the idea of Wabi-Sabi, that you're supposed to be perfectly imperfect. The beauty of nature is in its imperfection. If you went out in the forest and every tree was perfectly straight in rows, That's not a forest, that's an orchard. They look different. Forest looks completely different. You are a forest. You are a natural beauty. You are a wild, untamed, glorious thing. You are the star stuff of the universe. You are God's own creation put here on this earth to learn and grow, to impact yourself and others. How could you not be amazing? You're beautiful the way you are. I love you and I don't even know. Well, I know some, getting to know some of you, but seriously, I love you. I love you just because you exist. And there's nothing else you need to be worthy other than to say, I'm here and I exist for that reason and that reason alone. I am worthy. Just by your existence, you are worthy, because the universe would not have put you here if you weren't. You're here for a reason, you're here for a purpose, and the universe doesn't make crap. So you can't be garbage, because the universe doesn't make trash. We make trash. And the universe is grumpy with us. But we are not trash. So, everyone remember, you are worthy. You are beautiful. You are wise, talented, creative, scintillating. Whatever it is you want to be, you can be it. And I don't see any reason why you can't. And I think you're fantastic. And in that spirit, since we're all so awesome, let's do a gift card giveaway this week. Why not? So I'm going to give away a $25 gift card. I'll let you pick when we have our winner. We'll let the winner pick if they want a Visa or an Amazon gift card. And I will pick our winner on Sunday, May 8th, 2022 at noon Eastern Standard Time. So down below in the comments, put the words, I am worthy, if you would like to enter our contest. And let me just say right now, everyone who enters is worthy of a gift card. I wish I had a million of them to give away. So if just by entering, no, you're worthy to win. Sadly, only one will win, but you're all definitely worthy of it. And I appreciate all of you who play and enter our contests and have fun with our little games. You know, I like to play around. Can't take things too seriously. We got to keep that energy up. It's another thing that helps you work on your self-worth. Keep your energy up. Lighten up. Don't be so serious. Accept yourself as a creature of love and light and roll with it. So, in the words of Buddha, 1,000 candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So thank you for sharing your time and attention with us here today at Meg's Magical Mansion. Hey, if you had a good time, please give us a like, give us a share, hit that subscribe button or tell some of your friends to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. Oh, I woke Coopers up. Ring the bell. I will let you know when we post new episodes. You can check us out on the Instagram. I should do some pictures of Coopers this week in her new outfit. And, of course, we will see you back here next week at Meg's Magical Mansion. And check back this weekend for a special guided meditation called I Am Worthy.